I was talking a bit about the magic in the real world and how exactly the magic is something that is practically, well, scientifically proven more real than the most sciences. Modern science is a bit fictional. Well, if we are really going for the truth, we'll see that magic ain't fictional at all. And the biggest problem in magic is that, well, only a few people, not really a few, but few millions, maybe hundreds of millions still, well, there are less enough people are talking about magic at all. You understand that it's just ridiculous, but it's maybe because there were two guilds, two major clans or whatever you want to say, call them however you want, but maybe one of them didn't want the truth to be spoken and they were keeping the magic for themselves to manipulate people or, well, maybe the masses for their own, well, for more financial stability or whatever, call it however you want, but it's the truth. And now, what is magic? Magic is not simply a word which is something fictional, something supernatural. It's a science, it's based on alchemy and on astrology and on some spirits, but spirits there also, they can be described to the last detail, some of them. Maybe there are some, like the Holy Spirit, he cannot be, because even we cannot describe what exactly is the Holy Spirit, but it's existing, and if you are true with yourself, you actually know this. You can try to figure out, and you see that he is real, but at the same time, it is not real. It's super dimensional. It's ascensional. It's transcensional from this dimension and on. Actually, you're watching this, and it's not this dimension when you watch it. It's already happened. So, do you understand what I mean? Well, the quantum physics can explain some of it. Still, it's very much more it's simple. It's really simple. But you have to start from somewhere and go for the whole science. You have to understand a few, well, maybe a few books at last, at least. So you have a base to continue with your work or to start to begin with something, because before that moment you're just, well, you cannot experience it, and the magic has to be experienced in some way. And by the way, first of all we experience is kind of magic. It's everything that has some words in it, even it's magic. It's thoughtful. It's it's not just like that. It has some more characteristics that, for example, the more simpler people, the people who are simple, they cannot understand those things that some of the scientists are understanding, because their consciousness is, well, how to say it, well, it's not so extended. It's on a basic level, and they can understand basic things, but if you work out and try to, well, maybe read some books and understand them, meditate on them, then put some in practice, and I mean practical magic. Try to make more money, try to make your life better, try to, with the simple mind tricks. It's not even magic. It's not tricks, but it's knowledge. Yeah, it's the whole magic is the magic is based in its core, in its essence. It's based on knowledge. And if you have knowledge, if you have understanding, and you know how to use it, you have better results in life, you'll be more successful and whatever you want, and it's proven. You can literally go for it and see it for your eyes. Just make research and you'll see that magicians in history were actually one of the most, well, the richest, and some of them were, well, the most famous. And even nowadays, most of the magicians are very successful. Of course, there are some people trying to do tricks. They're just illusionists, but the illusion is a form of magic also. Yes, it is, but there some of them maybe are using more technology, more mechanics, you know, and well, I don't know about them. Maybe some of them could be not so successful, but it doesn't really matter. What I'm trying to say is that, and I'm saying it, and yes, I've experienced it, and there are some masters in this world, even more than some. There are some gods here amongst us, and you can actually see it for yourself also, but it's not so simple. For example, I will tell you some places, like, well, Shambhala is one of the places which is inhuman. Normal human cannot reach Shambhala, and it's practically in another dimension. So if you're going for it, you need some, well, you need equipment for sure, but the equipment is yourself, most of it, because you know you really would have to have some extended magics, and you need a team. Well, in most cases you need a team, and there has to be someone who is extremely strong, but that's another topic. Someone who is extremely good at magic, I mean, he has to be a master or something like that, grandmaster. I don't know how to say, archmage. Well, some masons would probably help, because they also have knowledge, you know, or could be simplified in a simple theory, but it's actually measurable. It cannot be described in words. The whole science, the whole magical science is, well, something extremely big, and you can start from somewhere and see it for yourself. First of all, I want to say that some of the people are not learning, and this is maybe the system, the society is making it so hard, because some of the people are not learning magic and are not trying, or they're trying some simple tricks for example, pheromones or something like this, which is extremely useless, because yeah, it's helpful, but then it's, well, it's been ruined by itself, because it has no real reason to do that. But if you're trying to make something for humanity, make something for the greater purpose, the great purpose, you know, for your own great purpose, it doesn't matter. Magic could probably be the only way to reach some goals, and even if the magic is some break of the limitation of your, for example, if you want to be a bodybuilder or a successful bodybuilder, you probably need some, at least a bit magic, because you know, the whole thing is about well, going extreme in that, and you need a spirit, and that spirit itself, it's kind of magic. You need a strong spirit, because what if, for example, a person have well been trying to be one of the most successful bodybuilders in the history of mankind? Well, after some years it will be very hard for him to continue eventually, and then what? You have to try to keep it on spirit. Sometimes the muscles are not enough, and I'm saying it because I really know this. You can try to speak with the most powerful people, they, not all of them, I'm sure not all of them will tell you, not all of them are understanding, but they're, most of them, they're using some sort of magic. And when you're in a situation, when you're trying to do the things without magic by yourself, well, you shall know that you are already using magic. And you better be true with yourself and check out. Just make your research, start from somewhere, and you'll probably go to some highs if you want. So, but it's very important. Another thing is very important, that God Himself has made people live a nice life, a good life. In most of the cases, I'm not saying anything. If you're not a believer, it doesn't matter in this case. But you will have, with the knowledge, with the power, you understand that God actually exists, and it's absolutely scientifically proven. Even the crop circles, or whatever you want, start from wherever you want, but you'll see that God exists. But you really have to have some power before, even if you are a believer, but you don't know about God. Maybe you don't understand what God is. You cannot understand it perfectly, but you would have some knowledge. You'll know that actually, like they say, God is in yourself. It's everywhere, practically. You cannot describe it perfectly, like I said, but it could be a theory which is in its essence perfect. So yeah, you can describe what God is perfectly, but it wouldn't be the whole thing, because it's undescribable. It's beyond this world, maybe, or beyond any word, beyond any explanation. Still, I'm not going for that right now. I'm just trying to explain some basics, some beginning of your magical journey, eventually, of course, and to be one of the, well, witnesses who have actually seen the whole process. And I'm sharing because I think that's the only way. The magic needs to be shared. It's going better. It's when it's in the light. You have to keep some for yourself, maybe, yes, but you have to share some, and not simple tricks like well, I don't even, for example, to have attention or something like this, because it's just fucked up. I don't appreciate that kind of magic. But if you're going for something real, for something true, and help the humanity, help the planet, help the universe, help yourself, go for it. And by the way, for example, I have to say, some are, for example, saying magic is, some are visualizing fireball or something like this. I'll explain the simple truth. Well, standing for this spell, it's really possible to be created a fireball, and it ain't so hard, but the practice before that, you have to practice. First of all, it's chi energy. For example, if you're going for the spell from yourself. You want to use only your personal resources of your body and your full self, even your spirit, but your full you, and not the, for example, some lighter or something like this. It will be harder maybe if you use some outer source of energy, and in that case a fire. um, it will be easier. But anyways, if you're going to try it like the magicians in the games and try to make it by yourself and only by yourself, you probably need to spell a word or some sentences or a sentence which is on a language which is actually every first of all, yes, the magic is very strict science. It's perfectly detailed. You have to know everything about every detail. It has to be made perfect. So it has a chance to work. Even if you don't have the belief system you need, it may not work again. But still, if you're practicing and it with the time of practice, you probably have some chance to make some real stuff, but it's not really worth it to try to make fireball, because how that help you, well, extend your consciousness, for example, and what will help one fireball or something like this, it will be you'll say, now, well, if I can make fireball, I will have everything I need because it's enough attention, I'll be the first one. But if you can cast a fireball by yourself, you'll not be there, and you'll not be showing that the whole world, because you have some sort of knowledge that you need to have to extend to that level where you can cast your first real fireball, and you'll be out of society. And I can tell you that maybe after some years it would be possible, but I don't really think so. We'll see. So, for example, you need that chi energy to make some fire out of your body. You need out of your fingers, maybe it's the easiest way. You can really watch how the master Tai Chi or Kung Fu, some of the masters can generate fire from their body, because the body has every element on earth and some other also, and you can generate some sort of fire from your body. And if you know how to generate, first you need that, and you need years of practices, maybe 1-2 years. Even now you can extend the speed and make it in maybe fewer, like a year or some months, but at least, well, for example, 8 to 10 months is the minimum amount of time you need. And then you need, like I said, a perfect spell. It's the frequency. For example, there are so many perfect sounds in the universe. One of the most simplest and most powerful is Om. And if the spell has, for example, 7 words on an ancient, not really ancient, but old Roman or something like this language, it has been created so that it could work magically. Or, there are many languages which are working, but nowadays, for example, well, most of the languages are not so powerful, because the belief system of the people that have spoken them and the creators of those languages have not created them to be so, well, so going with the universe and so perfect for casting spells. Anyways, they could work also, Even I have seen, well, maybe millions of spells in English and normal English, which is spoken nowadays, and some of them are actually working. For example, some chance for better work and money. There, if you're uh, consistent, if you have some discipline and you're going for it, you're casting a spell, for example, or some chant every day, it will work because it is changing your mental system, it is changing your behavior. You start to your subconscious will start to generate more energy because you're thinking about it, and if you're thinking about it periodic, yeah, for a longer period of time, uh, you have it in your subconsciousness and you start to generate a bit more, like I said, money, or you'll be a bit luckier or something like this. Even some of the spells are very, very powerful, but still, it's simple magic. If you are going for the knowledge, if you want to actually a bit change the world for the better, you'll be supplied. Eventually, you'll be supplied, and that's that's what every true magician would have to try. That's my view, but yeah, if you are asking the best, well, maybe there are not so many that will tell you this story, this stuff for free on, because I don't know how much can you understand from that, but those that I'm saying right now is very powerful, because if you have the beginning, you can extend it in time, and you can, for example, 4, 5, 6 years, you can be one not so bad magician, and if you are for yourself, you have fortune, you have a future, which is very important, and that's also a very important part in the magic. You have to understand, and right here, right now, you have to keep your focus on right here, right now, right now, eventually. But anyways, you'd have to have planned a bit about the future, because if you haven't, then you have been controlled by another intelligent, another spiritual being, or whatever you want. It could be someone who is for all of the masses on the place where you're living. You're generating thoughts. They're not coming from nowhere or just from the universe, because nowadays, there are companies and there are a lot of stuff which is helping for that to be, well, kind of, like I said, manipulation is very important, and it has been since the creation of humankind. Manipulation is being right over there. It nowadays it's not so different from before. Nowadays, just people know a bit more about it, and it's helping them. If you're here, maybe you're kind of successful, and you're seeing that, even if you're not, you're seeing that there are so many chances nowadays for a person to be really, really successful, and even he doesn't have to be so intelligent or so powerful or so strong. He just have to have some information and some, eventually, it's actually important, some experience in life and some social relationships with the right people, and then it's really easy. But you can make your relationships from every moment, and that's the whole truth. You can make your reality be whatever you want to and whatever you like. That's the simplest truth, but it's so powerful that you can use it for anything. And if you're trying to live in a world that has no manipulation and no order in it, well, that's not the world. And I don't know if there is escape from this world to a world that has nothing to do with control, because there, what is that? A chaotic, no, it's chaos. Chaotic world, so much like, well, for example, the planet of Avatar or something like this. Come on. Well, I don't say it's so fictional. Of course, maybe eventually there are infinite amount of realms, and there are some of those realms also, but why would you actually go there? Because I think the only explanation is that you are not understanding this world perfectly. It's a very nice world and you can make whatever you want here. Of course, it wouldn't be so easy. Yeah, it could get nasty or hard sometimes, but if you have strong spirit, you keep on pushing and you actually go to a level where the problems are so, you have solved your problems. I mean, they'll be forgotten, kinda. You remember them because they're experienced, but still you'll be beyond them, far beyond them, and you really control your reality, which is the best thing you could actually do, because the feelings that are so important for so many people nowadays have been described from some of the most strict and most truthful sources of information. Some of the feelings, even most of the feelings, are described like not so nice processes. They're not coming from the God himself. The mentality is coming from beyond. And those things you're experience by your heart, and some are saying your soul, that's not your soul. Your soul has thoughts, so you can think with your soul also. That's not your soul. That's more like your animals you have in yourself, and stuff like this. It could be useful. Really, animals could be very efficient in some of the situations. And for example, when you're escaping a difficulty or you're trying to think in a manner like some sort of animal, for example, an elephant or something like this, an eagle, it's okay. Even there are spells for that. You can try to generate their consciousness for some period of time, but you're a human being, and if you're a human being or an individual which is ascended from that point where he or she was an animal, so that you have already won in some kind of, you've made a win by that, and you have to use it. You don't have to, but you better use it, because human being is very transcendental. It's really high level of being, because the human have the perfect choice in every situation. That's the simplest difference between the person, the human being, and the demon. The demons may be more powerful than some people. That's the description. I am not talking about real demons or whatever, but if you check it, you'll see that actually it's not so far from the truth. And some of the sicknesses, and they're also described as demons before, and they have been cured like demons. For example, if you can separate the person from the demon, the sickness is cured. And if you cannot do this with the technology they had back in the days, the person is not going to be cured. He can even try to manipulate and to use his sickness for something, but anyways, he won't be cured if he is not separated. And nowadays, if you make a research, you'll see that some people are living with a whole bunch of problems, and then they're being negative, and it's perfectly normal. That's some basic info, and for now, that's what I'd say. I'll be continuing later, and we'll be talking more precisely about, well, maybe a spell or two, or maybe I have to make my theory work. I have to explain every detail like I have, and like I have in the past. I have done this already, and there are some people who are already on high levels. I'll be trying. I'll tell you also that I don't know with what are thinking about Jesus and his culture and his followers, but he was also a magician. And already, if you know about Shiva, Lord Shiva, he also used some sort of magic. And about the most powerful gods in the human history, every one of them, the creation by itself, the creator of all things, also the creation is also some sort of magic. So keep your awareness high, and you'll see. Keep your consciousness pure. Keep your extended also, and you'll be experience some better days in your life, and nights also. Very important to be said. You can actually do whatever you want. That's maybe some simple start for the things to be said. And that's for now. See ya.